Aaron Tuttle here for Ferguson Roof Systems. For 43 years, Ferguson Roof Systems has been protecting Oklahoma's homes and businesses with quality roofing services. Their goal was to be the most honest and dependable roofing company in the state, all while providing free services such as lifetime labor warranty and annual inspections. Well, mission accomplished with thousands of client testimonials, an A+ Better Business Bureau rating, and a 5-star rating on Google. Look, the weather gives you enough to worry about, so why worry about who to trust with your roof? Call Ferguson Roof Systems today or find out more at fergusonroofsystems.com. Alrighty, hey there, Meteorologist Aaron Tuttle here with you. It is about 9:40 on your Thursday evening. Thanks for joining me. We're going to talk about Hurricane Delta, where it's headed, see if anything's changed in the forecast, see how strong it is, and then we'll talk about Oklahoma's weather as well, see what you can expect over about the next 7 to 10 days. How's that sound to you, huh? We'll take you all the way through the middle toward the end of October, because we can. So again, thanks for following, thanks for liking. It's a social media world we live in, so the more you can like, share, all that kind of stuff is great for me. I built all of this organically. In other words, I didn't have a big, budget behind me to go with like a TV station and just advertise, and spend a lot of money on Facebook. So it was all word of mouth. And that worked great until about 2 years ago. Then Facebook went, no more freebies, no more organic. Everything has to be paid. So that's frustrating for me. So that means I reach a lot less of you unless I pay Facebook. And yeah, it's what it is. So I'm trying to see what I can do on the side. This whole thing's expensive as it is. Facebook makes it even more expensive. But I'm not here to gripe about Facebook. I'm here to talk about the weather. But I just want to give you an update, at least on how things go on a creator side whenever we're trying to give you guys information that you might want, how it all works. So that's why I'm saying the more you can like and share and comment, the more Facebook will notify you and reward you for that by giving you more content. If you stay quiet in the shadows, Facebook thinks you're not interested, right? And then you don't see the live, or you don't see the blogs, or you don't see the posts, and so you kind of suffer that way. So make sure you interact more with the things that you like. So if you like AT's weather, interact away. So one way you can do that with tonight is stars. So if you look at the bottom of your screen, you'll see a comment section. You can type in something, but you can also hit me a star and send it my way. We had several of you play the game over the last couple of weeks since Facebook turned it on for my platform. So star away. All right, so thanks for checking in. You guys on YouTube are here. Crazy Gaming Master checking in from Shawnee. Sergio, hola, senor, right back at you. ¿Cómo está ustedes, amigo? Jim got here on time this evening. That's good to hear. Now, don't ask me to speak too much Spanish because all of what I have is remembered from high school, 11th and 12th grade. And we used to sing a little jingle in class just to upset the teacher. And I will sing it for you just because I'm on a tangent before we get serious. And we would say, remember the Love Boat theme? So a friend of mine, Jarrett, we would sit back there, we'd make up lyrics. And we'd go, Te gusta jugar a las no te encanta mucho. And we would just sing that, and just to be stupid. And she would shake her head, and we would laugh like stupid kids, and we'd move on. But it helped to reinforce Spanish and learning it. So there's a little secret. Neither here nor there. Anyway, Danita's in the house at 50 stars. Thank you, Danita. Jared, my friend, in the house with 50. You're awesome. Renee, also checking at 50 stars. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let's move on to, and we'll get your questions and comments and concerns, all that stuff here once I roll through the operation. All right, so here's the big picture. We've got the little hurricane. I call it little, but of course it's the big one. Oh, come on, Aaron, flip the switch here. There you go. You don't want to stare at me all day. All right, so here's the hurricane down here in the Gulf of Mexico. That is a big swath of cloud cover, and then, of course, rain will be moving off that as well, off to the north and east as it tracks into the southeastern part of the country. Brian's in the house with 500 stars. He's not even messing around. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate you. All right, so let's take a look at the replay of this. This is the satellite viewpoint over the last couple of hours. You can see it does have a well-defined eye very large eye here. So it went through an eye wall replacement where it weakened, and then it strengthened, and so now it's back up to Category 3 strength after the interaction with Yucatan. And by the way, report from Cancun area, yes, there was some damage down there, but the hotels are mostly okay, and they think over the next couple of days they're going to have all that stuff cleaned up along the coastline because the hurricane decreased in intensity as it came on shore. So instead of feeling like a good, strong Category 4, they dropped down about a Category 2. Luke, you have about 1,000 stars, but you have to send them. You can't just hoard them. They're not hoarding stars or Chinese stars. I always wanted to be a ninja when I was a kid, and we would buy Chinese stars and nunchucks, and we would dress up in a ninja outfit, and we seriously wanted to be ninjas. And I think I actually had some of those Chinese stars in the attic. They're probably really rusted. But anyway, again, another tangent. Anyway, so here's a look at the hurricane model. And it's going to show about 100 knots intensity as it gets in closer, though, toward Louisiana on the southwestern side of the state. This right here is a very large swath. Remember, it's not just one point, it's a large area of the storm. And unfortunately, it's going to make landfall pretty much right where Laura did about, a couple weeks ago. So this storm is going to be coming on shore, probably a very strong Category 2, is the way that it looks right now. But it'll make landfall tomorrow late afternoon. As far as the eye wall is concerned, probably after 3 o'clock, somewhere between there and 7. And then, of course, moving quickly on shore, and then going to Louisiana, and then moving up toward Arkansas, and then kind of east from there. So that's kind of where the heaviest rain track will be. Now, if you look at the Hurricane Center, they did update here recently, a couple hours ago, with winds of 115 miles per hour, pressure down at 956 millibars, and moving to the northwest currently at about 12 miles per hour. Jared, the more stars you can bring rain to Dallas, that's a tough one. Oh my goodness. Esther's in the house with 200 stars. You rock, Esther. So here's a look at the hurricane track from the National Hurricane Center. And you can see they kind of moved it on in to about the Lake Charles area. So wind speeds of tropical storm force will be hitting course before the official landfall. A wide swath of wind from the east sides of Houston, but don't get too excited. We're not talking hurricane force wind. There'll be wind around 40 miles an hour to all the way to Baton Rouge, but it's in between that where the winds pick up quite a bit. And of course, you get the flooding concern along the coastline. Here's a look at the storm surge that we can expect. About 7 to 11 feet here. It's along where the eye wall makes landfall, just on the east side of it. That's where you get the biggest surge, strongest winds, and also the most tornadoes typically in that quadrant. But regardless, this is where your most flooding will be known, and then of course some out to the east and some out to the west as the waves do get a little higher as it brings on in. If we look at the rainfall amounts, it's about 6 to 10 inches of rain in a large area here in orange. And if you look at the potential for flooding, in other words, the potential storm surge flooding, greater than about 9 feet above ground level, which again goes in that 6 to 10 to 11 foot range, a lot of the red that shows up. So that means anywhere here along the coastline where you see the red, that means that the water will be 9 feet high. So that means any structures at that level below will be inundated with seawater. All right, so the hurricane itself, currently in this environment where we've got upper 20. So it is obviously still warm enough to produce a hurricane and to strengthen one, right? Drya, I'm playing to see the ninja Chinese star throwing. 1,200 stars. You're the man. I'll have to go dig up those Chinese stars. Julie's in the house at 200 stars. Thank you, thank you. Oh, you're quite welcome. My tuition is completely free for everybody. Now, when this hurricane, though, does get into this little region right here, the mid-20s, this 25-degree water temperature in the green, right on the coastline, to the yellow, that's good news. What that means is the hurricane will not intensify as it moves on shore. Now, what that can do is help to weaken it somewhat, but more likely what it does, it just kind of keeps it status quo, only because this storm will not be over this part of water for very long, only talking a few hours. So it doesn't give it a whole lot of time to weaken. It will some, but again, it won't be dramatic. So don't look for it to come on shore as a tropical storm or Category 1. It's not going to happen. Now, Delta Track model guidance from all the models, pretty much unanimous right here. Now you've really congealed. There really hasn't been any serious discrepancies as far as where the models think this thing's going to go. Here's another look at the American Ensemble Group. Same idea. Here's one, the Canadian model, same idea. Here's the European model, same idea. So again, pretty much all unanimous. There should not be any surprises with the landfall of this one. Jared, you're trying again. You want some rain to Dallas, don't you? 50 stars, I gotcha. So the hurricane guidance, intensity guidance, keeping it at Category 3 for the next 12 to 18 hours. And this started at 18Z, which is noontime, or 1 o'clock here for us in the afternoon, right? So 24 hours from now will be 1 o'clock tomorrow. And that puts us right here in this section. And that's where it's on the borderline Category 3 and 2. And then as it kind of comes into landfall, you can see how most of them drop it down to Category 2. So I got no problem with that. I think that's a good call based off the model data. Now, if you look at this track of the storm versus Laura, do you see how ridiculous this is? I mean, no one could have put Vegas odds on this and went out. I mean, this is incredible how the two would happen to go at the exact same place. Now, Scott's in the house at 50 stars. Thank you, Scott. He's donating on behalf of Luke. Luke, cough up your 1,200. Quit holding on to it. But the deal here is, honestly, on the serious note, is this is probably the best spot that this storm could land. And that sounds bad, but only because they haven't had a chance to rebuild, and everything's already been cleaned out, from the first storm. So the damage is going to be a lot more on the minimal side with this storm because of that fact. So that's kind of like a silver lining. And if you had to pick out and find some kind of good news, that's the only good news I would have for you. Versus hitting an area that hadn't been hit at all, and then of course, got way too much, stuff that can get really torn up. So I don't know. But it is what it is. We just kind of have to deal with it. Now, if you look at the Sapphire Central Hurricane Wind Scale, we are at a Category 3 strength with winds around 115 miles per hour. So they will hang in this category between 111 and 129 for tonight through tomorrow. And then they'll start to weaken somewhat in that Category 2. Now, what is the difference between Category 2 and 3? Again, last night we talked about this. Category 2 is up to 110 miles per hour. Well-constructed frame homes could sustain major roof and siding damage. Many trees snapped and uprooted. Roads blocked. Power loss. Well-built frame homes may incur major damage or removal of the roof. Many trees, of course, snapped and uprooted. Numerous roads closed, electricity, water unavailable for several days to weeks. And that's kind of why I say the area it's hitting now, of all the areas, that might be the best, only because they're already kind of in that situation to where they're still rebuilding. So they haven't finished rebuilding, and this is going to suck for them because that means now they got to postpone another couple of weeks. But I don't know. There's never any good news. I'm just trying to find something positive out of this, and that's basically the most I can come up with. The other issue you have to deal with is tornadoes. Roger's in the house, 3,857 stars to be exact, because Roger's good at math and he likes to throw out odd numbers. Thank you, Roger. You're still ridiculous. Oh my goodness. All right, so the other issue is the tornado threat. So this is the Storm Prediction Center. They have a slight risk, of course, of severe weather down here, and that is because hurricanes can produce tornadoes when they come on shore. And so there's a large area here in the brown shading, pretty much covers the majority of Louisiana coastline east of the eye wall. Again, that goes all the way to New Orleans and offshore from there. So if you have my weather app, AT's Weather to Go, it's great at detecting these types of tornadoes. If you have some friends or loved ones or family in there, same thing, tell them to get it, AT's Weather to Go. It'll predict those tornadoes and let them know, because they will be a dime a dozen. Now, here's some good news. Now, the last hurricane knocked out the National Weather Service Next Red Radar in Lake Charles. Our boys at OU stepped up, and they're taking their radar on the road. And it's this guy right here. It's called a SmartR radar. It's on a mobile bed truck, and it's a C-band radar, and it's actually pretty decent. Usually for research, obviously, and they usually get it within literally a mile or two of a tornado is what their goal usually is. Well, they also take it down there to do hurricane tracking or hurricane chasing or whatever for data analysis. And you can see how they post this thing into the ground. So they level it as best they can. They anchor it down. This thing's heavy, so it's not going to go anywhere. But that's what they do to research for the weather. And you can actually watch their live radar. And I've got it popped up right here. This is their reflectivity product, and it's starting to show some light showers moving on through in and around Lake Charles to basically, I think it reaches just about to New Orleans. It kind of stops there, goes through Lafayette, and then back out to the west. So we'll actually have the National Weather Service will actually be able to have a working radar to issue warnings for, including tornado warnings, and this will be great tool for that. So this is the perfect deal. So props and heads up, and congratulations to OU for stepping up on a situation like that. Okay, so now let's talk about Oklahoma. Are we going to see any effects from this hurricane? Well, let's take a look. You go through the radar replay, and this is the rainfall that will come out of this. Now, if we head into, this is Friday midday, so late morning to midday. Focus your attention. You see this little gray stuff showing up? What that indicates is we're going to have some moisture return in here. It's going to feel more like a summer, or even maybe, I don't know, spring, but it's going to be a little more sticky, warm, humid, and we'll probably give out at least a few sprinkles out of this deal. And then as we head into the afternoon, you can see some heavier showers will at least provide a few measurable raindrops here in southeast Oklahoma, but not very much. We're talking about isolated in nature. And then nothing really measurable here in the rainfall bucket, at most like a hundredth of an inch or something like that. As we headed through time from there, you can see all the rainfall stays pretty much central Arkansas to the east. This is different from the model data we saw last night. Last night it brought some of that measurable rainfall here across western Arkansas. This time around it shoves it more east because it's making the hurricane take more of an easterly path once it gets out of Louisiana. But down here across Louisiana, you've got a big stretch though of about a foot of rain in some cases. So yeah, it's called there's several radar names, Scott. So that there's a DOW, which is Doppler on wheels. That is based out of Colorado from Josh Worman. And the Smart Radar, is the other mobile platform here at OU, and they've got a bunch of other ones with a bunch of other acronyms. Now for us, for our weather highlights, because again, we haven't seen rain in a while, and we're not going to get it in a while. So Weather Service has put us in a near critical fire danger for western Oklahoma and North Texas on Sunday, with temperatures warming unbelievably summer-like into the upper 80s to maybe even upper 90s. That's disgusting. So again, just be careful out there for some tender vegetation. You don't want to start any grass fires. Temperatures here in Oklahoma City. And this is pretty representative of the state, unless you live out in far western Oklahoma. Of course, they're going to add a few degrees to the daytime highs. But the rest of us is going to look just about like this, which means 80s over the next couple of days and the weekend. Holiday on Monday, front comes in. Look at this. Knocks us back to where we should be, which is 70s for daytime highs. There's an 82 sneaking in. Tuesday morning, 49. My goodness. And then another front comes even stronger. Might be some sprinkles with that one around October 16th, but not really. There was another shot trying to show up around the 19th. It's not really good signals yet. But 70s to around 60s, around 70 for a high, overnight lows in the 40s. That's a little chilly, a little too cool for me. I don't like that kind of fall. I like okay, this is where I want. All right, I'm gonna tell you what I like. I like here to here. I do not want that, and it's too late for that nonsense. So this is AT's pick of the litter if you want to know. Now, what about Tulsa? Similar kind of idea. You've got 80s here through the weekend, and then 70s next week with some 80s trying to sneak in and then back down with another cold front. So temperature will be a little bit more of a rocky roller coaster ride for next week. They're obviously more easy to track this week because they've been pretty stable. All right, that was a ton of information. I know it was long-winded. We had a lot to discuss and talk about, but it's hurricane season, and that might be our last one. That we have to discuss. I don't want to jinx it, knock on wood. But there you go, and it's just it's a bad situation. If you're wondering, though, there has been a lot of hurricanes. Obviously, if we're on Delta, it means we've gone through the naming of the alphabet. And does that mean anything necessarily? Yeah, it does. It means one thing for sure. It means the globe, the Earth, uses hurricanes to transport heat into the polar region. So it takes it out of the equatorial region and it moves it northward into the polar region. It's transferring the heat balance to keep the Earth in balance. So if we have a situation, we've got a lot more hurricanes out there like we did this year. Most of these, of course, were all out over the ocean. That means that the Earth's rebalancing itself and changing heat sources. Now, that's okay. We want that to happen. If it don't happen, then we get total chaos. So that's a good thing. The bad thing, of course, is when land gets in the way. And that's going to happen every year. Some land's going to get hit somewhere. That's just the way it goes. It's the nature of the beast. But it's not anything that hasn't happened before, as far as just a number of storms. I mean, historically, as far as bigger storms like the hurricane category 4 or 5s, or getting stronger as they make their way into the U.S. coastline, all that's just nonsense. It's all political theater. Historically, the last 100 years, there's been no significant change. It's been pretty flat in hurricane trends, which is good. We want those trends flat. And then there are some storms that will strengthen as they come on shore, and there's some that will weaken as they come on shore. This one for tomorrow is expected to weaken as it comes on shore. That same one actually weakened when it came on shore to Cancun as well. So there's so many variables that are more important around the immediate vicinity of the storm than globally. In other words, the temperature of the water, the amount of wind shear, how long the storm has maintained a peak intensity. Where's the eye wall in the process of this? Is there a secondary eye wall developing? Is it going through a regeneration cycle? So all that stuff is what dictates whether or not a hurricane strengthens or weakens as it approaches a landmass, not anything else. So just this little science for you, a little one-on-one. You'll learn that in any basic hurricane class that you take. So just a little something out there for you, because I know there's a lot of talk out there on the interwebs, and you don't have to believe everything you hear. But this time around, believe me, that's just the science behind it. All right, I'm going to peruse your comments real quick. So Sergio got my little tune joke, so glad I could entertain you there. All right, you guys on Twitter, Periscope, if you have any questions, now would be the time to shoot them. I had you turned off there so I could do all this stuff. And let me go to my patrons here and load you guys up. And load up the main page. Okay. Do this. Actually, you guys have no idea, but I love it when you guys talk amongst yourselves and you guys have all these different conversations. I feel left out sometimes. I don't get to participate in all of them, and I usually get them on the back end. So just saying. So Dariah is in the house. Thanks again, brother, for the stars. Do you see a freeze in our future at all? Well, of course, Jesse. It's just going to be a minute. It's not going to be this month. It'll be in November. Kicking the pollen, that's, it's just the way it goes. I suffer every now and then from a little allergy action. And it's always random, like just all of a sudden out of the blue. And then when Jody comes down here to visit, she suffers from the allergies too. I'm like, welcome to Oklahoma. And it's just part of living here. Luckily, we got some pretty good meds you can take now. You can do nose sprays, you can do eye drops, and you can do... click on here. You can do it. Take your pills, whatever you need to do. All right, I'm going to scroll through, look at some of your comments, searching for a question real quick. Zach, AT, my wife Sarah Cooper got me watching you, and I've never looked back. Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Your wife's a good woman. You should listen to her more often. Luke, I'm still waiting on those 1,000 stars. And some tacos. Shrimp tacos. Jesse, yes, the mall ninja. That was about the day we would do malls. As another side topic to that, besides being a ninja, we wanted to be professional breakdancers. So that was another friend of mine. So, well, actually, no, it was the same friend with the ninjas. Yeah, we were into ninjas and breakdancing. I don't think we could decide which one we wanted to be. Probably both, because we're kids, and we can just do whatever you want at the age of 12? Yeah, I think we're about 12. 10 to 12, I think, was that age. It was during, like, Breaking Loose, Electric Boogaloo, all that kind of stuff. We had... parachute pants, like the real kind of, not the MC Hammer pants. We're talking real parachute pants. The tight fitting, got the slashes and zippers, and it's like Michael Jackson type stuff almost, even back then. But we would do practice our moves in his bedroom in a little 3-foot by 3-foot area. We get the cardboard out, do some head spins, centipedes, backspin. I mean, if we could dream it, we did it. And then we went to the mall and we tested out on the stage, and we probably had all of 10 people watching. Boy, that was the highlight. That was big stuff. We were riding high. Man, to go back to that era. No cares, no concerns, no responsibilities. Just go out there and break dance. Oh, the reason why I do these lives is not for y'all's benefit, it's for me. Because we get to get off on tangents and my brain cells get to fire off that they haven't fired off in 30 something years, and I get to relive some old memories. So thanks for that. I need to go write that in my book. All right, let me keep going with your questions. So Brittany's telling Kristen how to do the stars thing. Jody's having multiple conversations with all of her friends and fans. Okay, now Luke's bragging he's got 10,000 stars. He's out of control. Let's see. Carmen's checking in from Lindsay. Carmen, I guess you got some Wi-Fi tonight. Glad to see it. I know last night you were having some trouble getting video. Thanks for chiming in as well. Jody loves the star game. It is fun. I enjoy it. Tom Herman watches local news instead of Aaron. Oh, Tom Herman. You're missing out. Let's see. Keep going. Shelly wants some fall weather over the heat. I'm telling you. When do I need to bring in my flowers? Pat, you got flowers to bring in? Mine are all planted in the ground. I can't bring those things in. You'll be fine for a while. Let's see. Oh, who we got back here from Liz? Over hurricanes. Just arrived back in Oklahoma after being stuck in Cancun. Yeah, that was a bad deal if you weren't out of there before that storm hit. Is there a link to the OU radar that's down in LA for now? Yes, there is, Mina. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to give it to you. How's that sound? I tweeted it tonight on Twitter. By the way, if you don't follow me on Twitter, you can get that link there. But I'll post it here in these comments. Matter of fact, I'm going to reply to yours and see if it'll work. There you go. And then it gave me a chance to pin your comment a minute ago, and then it took it away whenever I went to reply on it. Let's see. I can mute you, though, for 60 minutes. And it says I can ban you from the page or the stream. Whoa, that's new. It's good for the trolls. All right, let me go back. Oh, I can pin that myself. Okay, I'll pin that at the top so you'll be able to see the link. Okay, was there for both storms last week. Liz, you were both for, oh my goodness. You're a hurricane queen then. Forget that nonsense. You must be a hurricane chaser. So Nate wants to know about jackpots. About average temperatures above and below. Not sure what you mean, but I have not looked at the recent averages. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I got a tomato plant. It's making little baby tomatoes. Nothing's going to happen with that thing. They're teeny tiny, and I think they're just going to die. The whole thing's starting to wither anyway. But don't tell Jody. I'm watering at least twice a week. Let's see. All right, so I think that was all your hurricanes. I skimmed through your comments real quick. Let me check on Twitter, see if they had anything. Nope. And then YouTube. Judy's checking in. She's late to the party. My friend Dave from Oklahoma City got me hooked on you. Awesome. I'm in Vermont. Whoa. Welcome, Judy. Glad you could check in from Vermont. Believe it or not, I have fans all over the place. They're not just in Oklahoma. Paulo had some parachute material pants. He knows what I'm talking about. Did you carry your piece of cardboard? Sergio. I think we just used it to practice. If we would have carried it, it would have only been to the mall for that exhibition. We were going to make our group. I don't know whatever happened to the group thing. But I do remember us going into the record store and acting like we were going to buy something. Yeah, I remember us looking at all the latest. Was it Grandmaster Flash? I don't know. I can't remember whoever was popular back then in that era of the early 80s, 1984. Yeah, it was about 1984. I'd have been 11. So there you go. I just gave up my age. But Deborah, hey there. Jesse, what's up? I see you. And yeah, we'll eventually get that freeze eventually. So about November-ish. Hoping my son in Leesville, Louisiana, will not have damage this time. Concerned about storms. So the outside of the eye wall. Again, the eye wall is the most damaging area of the hurricane, and that's going again around the Lake Charles region. Now, when you get east of there, you still have some damage, of course. You have some flooding, but you have to watch out for tornadoes, and that's where that can extend all the way to about Mississippi, and then from that point westward. So any of those little storms that come on shore can rotate and produce tornadoes, but most of those will be more over Louisiana itself. So there's a hard line in the sand, and you'll know it when you look at radar trends. You can use my weather app down there. Sarah, I was born in 1985. Oh my goodness, youngin', a whippersnapper. All right, listen, I go cook chicken. I don't know what the rest of you are going to do. Probably get ready for bed, but no, I got to turn the oven on and get some chicken in the oven so I can freeze it. It's called meal prepping. That's what I do. I cook everything in bulk and then freeze it and then just take it out about 2 or 3 days worth at a time, let it defrost in the refrigerator, and eat it. That way it stays moist. So, a little tip from me to you. Part of my diet guide tips, actually, believe it or not, if you're interested in that. It's on my website, AaronTuttleWeather.com, if you got a few pounds you want to lose. And it can be anywhere from 5 pounds to 500 pounds. It's whatever you want to lose, whatever you got to lose. My diet guide will get you there. So it's AaronTuttleWeather.com. It's on the store tab. You look at the drop down, and you can find the link there. All right, listen, I'm going to wrap this up. Again, thanks to everybody for the stars. Appreciate you playing the game tonight, and I hope this was informative and educational and entertaining all at the same time, as it can be when you're talking about something like a hurricane. And again, my heart goes out to all those on the Louisiana coastline that's going to have to deal with it, especially in that same area. A lot of those, like I said, it's hard to find any, silver lining, and maybe a silver lining is the fact it's going to hit that same area because they've already kind of get hit, so they haven't had a chance to rebuild, versus hitting some spot brand new, in a big city or something like that. But that's splitting hairs, and it doesn't make those people feel any better. Louisiana, they get hit regardless. So don't misinterpret my looking for something positive to be, a negative thing, because that's not what it's intended for. But there's a lot of, sensitivity out there. I understand it, so I'll make that clear. All right, listen, I'm out of here. You guys have a great night, and we'll talk again soon. Take care, everybody.